Christy.
Oh, funny. I'd like to see that, Jamie. Here's a look at the satellite. Now, we're dealing with a little bit of a disturbance. One that moved through earlier. Still some showers north of Lloydminster and Vegreville. That will move out overnight tonight, but we're also watching a band right through here through the foothills. So it's extending from Hinton, Edson area down through Red Deer, even into Calgary. And we have a good chance of seeing that over the next few hours. If we do, it should just be light, and we're expecting otherwise mainly clear skies overnight tonight. 2 will be our low, so it'll be a mild night tonight. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, 4 degrees, so nice and warm. A mix of sun and cloud. There'll be lots of sunshine tomorrow, and we're warming up to 17 degrees, and a mix of sun and cloud continuing throughout the day. Now here's a closer look at your 5-day forecast. 17 tomorrow and a mix of sun and cloud. Now Thursday and Friday we'll see another disturbance make its way in. So cloudy with sunny periods expected on both those days. Also 16 degrees as a high. That's not bad. That's normal for this time of year. On Saturday we're expecting more sunshine, and that is the same case on Sunday. And we warm up to 18 degrees on Sunday. So we're all looking forward to a terrific weekend. After such a cold weekend last weekend, we deserve it. And it's Mother's Day on Sunday, and we're warming up to 18 degrees. So
good stuff. Hopefully lots of people will enjoy that.
Exactly.
Thanks, Christy.
You're welcome.
Now here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow. Preparing for a disaster. Severe weather season is here again. Are Edmontonians ready to deal with another emergency? That's tomorrow night here on 8 Channel News at 6. And that's our broadcast for this evening. 8 Channel's Julie Nolan has your next local news at 11 o'clock. Good night.
Good night.
Edmonton is slipping and tipping on slick sidewalks and slushy streets all over the city. There is a freezing rain warning now in our region tonight. Details on that are just ahead. But first, how can we stay on top of all that ice? Here's 8 Channel's Lana Thompson.
It's not an easy feat, but hey, whatever works.
We've got this rinky-dink plastic shovel that doesn't seem to really do anything, so it'll be a while yet.
It seems we're in a cycle of salting, sanding, and shoveling. And in this winter city, it's tough to keep up.
It is treacherous sometimes. It's just, you know, it's like wearing curling slider.
Then there are these piles of snow built up along our roads.
When you park up close, well, you can't get your door open.
The windrows narrow the street, and kids from this nearby school get a lesson in mountain climbing.
It's very tough, and dropping them off and picking them up, like, you know, because the roads are, you know, cars coming through, buses, big buses.
In the morning, at lunchtime, and after school, it's really busy around here, and all of this snow makes it that much worse. But the good news is the city's going to clear this snow, but only on bus routes and only in front of schools. These roads will be cleared this weekend, but you might also see the plows on major roads like this one.
We're trying to be preventative when it comes to potholes. Pothole season is right around the corner, so it's very important for us to get that moisture off the road.
The other priority? More than 4,000 kilometers of city-owned sidewalk.
With the melting, the snow that's on the other side of the sidewalks is melting on those sidewalks, and we have to sand them. So our crews are also very busy handling that responsibility.
91 of our city's 146 community leagues have these green boxes filled with sand. It's free to homeowners so they can keep their sidewalks clear. You just pull up and fill up. In Burnwood, Lana Thompson, 8 Channel News Now.
To find out
PSAC members picked peak hours to carry out their plan.
We're picketing the main gate here and the other gates of the base.
By daylight, this was the scene outside Edmonton Garrison. Hundreds of vehicles lined up as far as the eye could see.
Being in the military, I'm used to waiting in lines.
I've been here about an hour and 10 minutes.
What are you delivering?
I'm delivering 1 box of cabbage.
But I don't hope it doesn't piss everybody else off that I'm pushing my bike up the trail and watching them all sit there idle in the cars.
Dozens of students from Guthrie School couldn't get onto the base, so their buses dropped them off at a nearby high school to wait out the pickets.
The other problem is that the majority of the staff
The teaching staff live off the base as well too, and they can't get in here.
It's lunchtime and the pickets have ended, but you can gauge the frustration of drivers by the number of vehicles left on the side of the road and in the ditch. People decided just to walk to work. Union leaders say they will do whatever it takes to get what they consider a fair collective agreement.
So far, we've been very effective. We've been holding out contractors. We've got traffic backed up reasonably well. We've stopped some things going on the base. We're very happy about the way it's going right now.
The roving pickets also hit the Garrison Supply Depot and the Northern Forestry Center. Members include cooks, cleaners, and tradespeople who argue they earn 20% less than their counterparts in the private sector. Guthrie's principal wants parents to know the school will not close during pickets. There's enough staff living on the base to keep the doors open. Commuters should expect more delays Monday morning. Picketers say if an agreement hasn't been reached, they'll be back out here at the Garrison once again. In North Edmonton, Lena Thompson, 8 Channel News Now.
A 19-year-old charged in a fatal traffic accident is now in court.
Barb Tarbox was an unlikely hero. It was when she had to stare death in the face that the anti-smoking crusader displayed her greatest determination and courage. She changed many lives as she showed people the hard way that smoking can kill. Here's 8 Channel's Megan Venner.
I don't want you feeling this pain.
Barb Tarbox waged a very public war, a war on cigarettes.
You are all phenomenal. You are so much above this.
And at least in his case, Gary Harris says Tarbox won that war.
So I saw her little story on 8 Channel, and at that point it just worked on my conscience, and I made the choice to quit.
After 28 years as a smoker, Harris has quit, using Tarbox and her crusade as motivation. Harris has a picture of the anti-smoking crusader on his fridge and says he didn't need products like the patch or nicotine gum to stay quit, just the knowledge of Tarbox's fight.
I won't smoke again.
Harris may have taken Tarbox's story to heart, but the bulk of her message was directed at children. Louis Saint Laurent's school would be the last school Barb Tarbox would leave with her message, but at least some students say they won't forget her.
I hope it makes a difference in everybody. I really do.
It was amazing to see all the people at the end, how everyone just kind of came together towards her, and it's kind of sharing a part of her.
I have never seen a gym full of junior and senior high school students quiet. She had everyone captivated.
And for Gary Harris, Tarbox was more than just a powerful speaker, she was a lifesaver.
Barb, I'm sorry you had to die to give me, I'm sorry you had to get cancer to give me the message. And I guess the message to Barb is thank you for devoting the time you had left to tell all of us that we really do have to address this.
In lieu of flowers, donations can be made to the Cross Cancer Institute or to one of 2 Barb Tarbox legacy funds, one with ADAC and the other with the Edmonton Community Foundation. On the south side, Megan Venner, 8 Channel News Now.
Funeral arrangements are now in place for Barb Tarbox. A prayer vigil will be held Thursday night at 7 o'clock at St. Teresa's Roman Catholic Church. The funeral will take place on Saturday. On to sports.
Edmonton's real estate market is starting to show signs of leveling off. Sellers need to start marketing their homes again. Here's 8 Channel's Stacey Brossel with 7 big mistakes sellers can make.
Sylvia Koska wants her house to sparkle. It's officially up for grabs. After 3 years, her family has decided to move.
We decided we wanted something just a little bit bigger for our family situation and our business, so we decided to put up for sale.
Their home has to be picture perfect. It's the model for a virtual reality tour. Thousands of people could possibly see it over the internet, so it has to be clean.
We did the carpets, hired somebody to do the carpets and a cleaning person to come in. They spent a whole day cleaning everything from windows to floors and windowsills and baseboards.
The Koskas just put their house on the market last week. They've moved around a lot, so they put themselves in the buyer's shoes in order to sell their house.
You want the place to be clean, neat, tidy, not messy, the closets clean, no empty boxes in basements, things like that.
Koska's effective marketing also means her teenage daughter was inconvenienced a bit. Mom replaced her queen-sized bed with a single in order to make the room look bigger. And the pets got the boot.
They get taken out if you do have them, and they shouldn't be around when they're viewing. People come in and view the house.
By cleaning, Koska avoids making the most common mistake among sellers, according to realtor Sandy Pon.
When people come in, they might not be very meticulous themselves, but they would like to walk into a clean home.
Another mistake is pricing your home too high.
People are probably looking at 5, 10, 15 houses when they look at yours. And how does yours compare? Pricing is most important, that you're competitive.
You shouldn't sink too much money into renovating your kitchen or bathroom. You probably won't get your money back. A fresh coat of paint on the walls can help, but pick a more neutral color. The wild hues don't appeal to everyone's palate. Besides the cosmetic, make sure the necessities are in top condition.
And when you have an inspector going to be looking at the house that you're buying, they're going to be looking for problems with the roof, problems with the plumbing. And those are things that you should spend time in looking at and making sure that you've got the right things done, that your home is really going to be saleable.
When it comes to real estate agents, don't sign a long-term listing agreement without a written performance guarantee. Pon says during the slow times like winter, 6 months is good.
We know that the product is going to sell fairly quickly. I would put it as a 90 days, 3 months listing. That's plenty.
Koska probably won't have a problem selling her house. At least she hopes not. It's hard being so clean.
It's very stressful, but if you want to sell your house, you have to.
One more tip to keep in mind: if you can, don't move out until you've sold your house. Your house doesn't look very appealing with no furniture in it, and the buyer may think you're desperate, giving them the advantage at the negotiating table. From Riverbend, Stacey Brotzel, 8 Channel News Now.
Where else in Alberta, but these people don't get to vote for their mayor. Norm Mayer has held the job since 1989, twice elected and 3 times acclaimed.
We all expected him to run again as mayor.
But he didn't. At the last minute, Mayer decided not to file his nomination papers. And at the same time, another man was changing his mind too, deciding not to run for council and instead putting his name forward for mayor. The result is an acclamation and suspicion the move may have been planned to cheat citizens out of an election.
It's all about control, and I don't think he's fulfilled his agenda, and this is one way he can do it, by putting a person in place that he can control.
We reached the current mayor here at his workplace, but he refused to do an on-camera interview. Norm Mayer says if people wanted to run, they should have filed their nomination papers, and says the reaction now is just sour grapes.
It seems kind of suspicious about him dropping out at the last minute and the other guy getting in by acclamation, but you lost out on your chance to run, I guess.
The man acclaimed as mayor was not at home and did not return repeated phone calls, but he is expected to face the public at a forum where at least some are planning some pointed questions.
My question for the acclaimed mayor, Mr. Clarence Mastel, is simply, how do you intend to establish and maintain credibility?
The province says it has received 3 or 4 complaints, but they're mostly about the politics of the situation, and unless legal fault is found with the process, the acclamation will stand. In Camrose, Megan Venner, 8 Channel News Now.
The provincial riding of Edmonton Gold Bar has a new Tory candidate, Manjit Dal.
Difficile qu'apprendre, à nager, à faire de la brasse, quoi que ce soit.
Il y a une quarantaine de membres ici à Ottawa, mais on joue
or ethically wrong with Peter Elzinga's career move. Here's Megan Venner.
Welcome to Ralph's world.
Peter Elzinga has been the man behind the throne. As Ralph Klein's chief of staff, he was privy to government's deepest dealings. Now he's running the party's election campaign.
What we have is another case of an ultimate insider
leaving government and putting his contacts and knowledge up for sale to the highest bidder.
The problem is Elzinga has taken a new job, a lobbyist with one of the oil patch's biggest players, Suncor, and a company in a $250 million fight with government over royalties. And Elzinga's not the first Tory bigwig to walk into a plum lobby job either. Another former chief of staff and the man credited with much of Klein's success, Rod Love, is looking for $300 million taxpayer dollars for a railway to Fort McMurray. Still, Klein says it's not a problem.
Every day I'm lobbied by someone.
But the lobbyist has one job: talk the government into whatever is currently on that company's agenda. And when you're talking about the energy sector, you're talking big money.
And the government seems to be getting back to the old days of Don Getty, where there was a really blurred line between where government begins and ends, and where the Conservative Party begins and ends, and where the private sector begins and ends.
The NDP says Elzinga has to step down as campaign chair to avoid conflict of interest. Klein says he'll think about it.
Well, I have no control over what he does in the private sector. I do have some control over what he does relative to the campaign. That could create some problems, and I'll deal with that.
But even if Elzinga steps down, the opposition says there should be a mandatory cooling off period of 6 months to a year before senior political staff can take their experience into the private sector. In Edmonton, Megan Venner, 8 Channel News Now.
Up in their place, as 8 Channel's Lana Thompson tells us, it's $1 million purchase that's almost a done deal.
You've probably seen them perched on the 105 Street Hill, character homes built between 1905 and 1927. While brand new high-rises pop up all around, this tiny community has become a haven for artists.
This wonderful community of artists and musicians, there's a real sense of belonging here.
Aaron Paquette is a painter.
Huge canvas.
He shares this duplex with his brother and lives next door to Juno Award-winning musician Bill Bourne. The city rents out these homes and last May informed tenants the land was being sold.
Children in the future aren't going to be able to walk by that house and say like, oh yeah, that's where Bill Bourne was, that's where a famous sculptor was, that's where, you know, one of the founding fathers of the city of Edmonton lived.
BCM Developments has offered the city $1.1 million for this half-acre parcel of land. The homes would be torn down and up would rise 15 stories of luxury condos.
Part of the concern is that when you end up with just one thing only, it gets pretty sterile, and it's pretty hard to keep a community kind of together and interested.
Councillor Michael Fair had hoped the Transportation and Public Works Committee would have voted to keep the homes. Tenants tried having the houses deemed historically significant, but were turned down.
I don't think there's much that can be done that I'm aware of.
If the sale goes through, construction could begin here as early as April. And just down the hill across the street, another new development, 4 stories of new condos. In downtown, Lana Thompson, 8 Channel News Now.
Job, and that am I perfect? The answer is no.
Gary Marr says he's still taking full responsibility for problems with his friend's consulting contract. Kelly Charlebois, Marr's former executive assistant, has made more than $410,000 over the last 3.5 years, giving advice on various healthcare issues. But 2 weeks ago, the Auditor General pointed out significant problems with the contract. Fred Dunn says there was no explanation as to why the service needed outside contracting or what work was actually done. He also pointed out Charlebois was paid $100 an hour simply for traveling. It's those kind of figures frustrating the frontline workers.
The consulting contracts, particularly I guess the Department of Health one, came up today with workers, NAs. They're being restricted to 1 bath per week for a lot of their long-term care clients. So they're viewing it and expressing a real double standard.
And the public is upset too, to the point where Marr is accosted on the street.
It takes me half an hour to buy bread and milk at the grocery store. I recognize that this is a concern for the public and we're responding to it accordingly.
Marr says getting out of the deal won't cost taxpayers anything, and he says he has no plans to rehire Charlebois at this time.
I think the only reason that Gary Marr is sorry now is that he got caught. It's really smacks of such blind arrogance. It's a huge flip-flop. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Marr said, and was supported by the Premier, there's no need to cancel this contract.
Despite the fact the Auditor General says the health department's contracting policies are good, they just weren't followed in this case, Maher says he wants to review them. He says he wants to be able to demonstrate to the public the value of these types of contracts. At the Alberta Legislature, Megan Venner, 8 Channel News Now. Where's the plan?
It's incredibly vague. It was billed as a health summit. It was really a summit about fiscal federalism.
About dollars and cents, says Patton. $41 billion over 10 years, $18 billion in the next 6 years, and then a 6% yearly increase after that. For Alberta, that represents $300 million annually, a figure Alberta's premier says isn't that much.
The feds have moved, but they haven't moved anywhere near to where the premiers wanted them to move.
But Klein left midway through the first day, something some Albertans say is embarrassing.
I don't know how he can look himself in the mirror. He's just not doing the job for Albertans.
Well, it says he doesn't take his job very seriously. What would happen if you or I walked off our jobs?
The premiers who did stay are claiming victory, but admit there is work to do. Although vague, the deal promises reform in home care, pharmacare, and primary care, things that some say so far haven't topped the Alberta reform agenda.
It's mostly about how to make health care more sustainable in the sense of more affordable to government. Not how to keep the overall costs down, not how to reform the system.
The government right now in Alberta, though, is playing peekaboo with their health reform plans.
The Liberals say with an election looming, it's time for the Tories to lay their plans on the table. Klein, on the other hand, has said the election is no place to talk about meaningful reform. And there's another major meeting planned between the Prime Minister and the Premiers next month, this time on equalization. It's unknown at this time whether or not Ralph Klein plans to attend. At the Alberta Legislature, Megan Venner, 8 Channel News Now.
In his campaign colors, so you be the
He
judge.
found a loop and 25 signatures to make it official.
It's a great day. I'm excited. Actually, the official beginning of the campaign.
We're getting our message out, and Edmontonians are looking for a change.
They are the familiar faces of the 2004 civic election, but there are 5 others seeking your vote too.
I can say about Bill Smith, he's a girly boy. So all you girly boys, look out. The gloves are off.
I saw there's really no choice on the ballot. Most of these other candidates are for more police, more taxes, more white elephant projects, and that's wrong.
Candidates running for mayor have to front $500. For council and the school boards, $100. This time there are 45 people campaigning for city council. There are 9 candidates crowding the slates in wards 1 and 2 alone.
I've been a police officer. I was president of Edmonton Minor Hockey Association.
In Ward 6, this man is hoping to make history.
You know, I will be the first ethnic candidate on this city council.
In history?
Yes.
It was an easy race for these candidates. Public School Board trustee Ken Gibson already declared in Ward E, and Debbie Engel will represent Ward 1 for the Catholic School Board. Neither had any challengers. This is Mayor Bill Smith's 5th time filing nomination papers. Now he's gunning for a 3rd consecutive term.
Now it becomes really official. Not that anybody would be changing their mind, I'm sure, but this is the day it's go forward. So I feel good about it. I feel energized. I'm as excited about it as back in 1995.
The first Mayor's Forum is this Thursday. The smoking bylaw is expected to take front and center at that debate. At City Hall, Lana Thompson, 8 Channel News Now. Cash Canada, once a popular pawn shop, now a pile of bricks and ash. Somewhere in here is this customer's pride and joy. What kind of guitar was it? Tell us about it.
It was a G&L Invader. It was a collector's.
According to his receipt, the guitar was worth more than $2,000. Mark, who asked us not to mention his last name, pawned it a couple of weeks ago for a quick loan. He was devastated Monday when he saw this. He had no idea the company waives liability in the event of a fire.
Read the small print.
Did you know that there was a clause in the back of your claim ticket?
Not. Nope. But who expects these things?
If you lost merchandise in the fire, you're supposed to come to this Cash Canada at 87th Street and 118th Avenue. Your name should be in a central database. And while the company isn't promising customers will be reimbursed, your name will be added to a list. Cash Canada CEO Randy Clifford says while his company is not liable, he will try to do whatever he can. Also, A Channel has learned most of the items in the store safe, such as jewelry, were saved. Damage is pegged at more than $1 million, but investigators say they might never nail down an exact cause.
I certainly was able to eliminate a number of possibilities and probabilities for this fire, but not enough, like not all of them.
Mark says he'll think twice the next time he considers pawning and hopes Cash Canada will help him out.
I would just like a piece of the guitar if it's still, if there's anything left of it at all.
Sentimental reasons?
Well, yeah, it was very important to me.
Fire investigators say they have ruled out arson. On 118th Avenue, Lana Thompson, A Channel News Now.
Ralph Klein plays to his audience, telling Petroleum Club members how much they've contributed to a debt-free province and how poorly Ottawa has managed their money.
Ottawa, where your tax dollars go to die.
Klein dismisses the more controversial firewall measures like setting up a separate pension plan, but he does talk about the need for a political firewall, a firm stand protecting Alberta from Ottawa's grasping hands.
Keep your hands off anything that you aren't entitled to.
Oil hit a record $50 a barrel this week, potentially a big boost to provincial coffers.
There's no question we're going to have more revenue than we forecast, but 10 billion, 8 billion, 7 billion more, probably not likely. Probably $500 million, maybe a little more than that.
Klein calls the high oil prices a mixed blessing, more revenue, but also more expectations. The opposition dismisses that, saying this is an opportunity, not a problem, and says there's no threat from Ottawa.
The Premier is living in the past here. He's trying to pick a fight with the federal government in the lead up to the provincial election because he has no other agenda.
Ottawa may not be planning to raid the Treasury, as the Premier puts it, but Klein is about to head to meetings for negotiations over equalization, how much Alberta shares with the other provinces.
I'm always worried. I'm always, you know, the talk now is that there will never be a raid on Alberta's prosperity. But you're always on guard.
Klein says he's not opposed to equalization. Right now, the province kicks in $9 billion, or nearly $2,900 a person, for the program. He says he only wants a deal that's fair. He also says this is a meeting he plans to attend, unlike the last Premier's conference on healthcare, where he stayed less than a day. In Edmonton, Megan Venner, A Channel News Now.
There's just It's a bus stop bench with one word, Budzinski. If this were a campaign sign, it would be illegal. But mayoralty candidate and former county councillor Vic Budzinski says it's not. His competitors think otherwise.
Definitely it's underhanded what he's doing, because the bylaw says that he's not allowed to put up any type of campaign sign.
Candidates in Strathcona County are not allowed to erect any campaign material in public until September 20th. Budzinski's signs are the same color and design as his campaign posters, but lack one key element. They don't solicit for support in the election.
Basically what Budzinski's doing here is just cheeky as far as I'm concerned.
We spoke with Vic Budzinski this morning on the telephone. He refused our request for an on-camera interview, but did tell us that he had the signs cleared through the county and checked over by a lawyer. He says he was looking for name recognition, not controversy. Budzinski also said, quote, "Let's forget about it. There's a lot more important issues in the campaign at this time." The bylaw is much different for Edmonton. There is no time frame when it comes to campaigning on billboards, bus stops, and other private property, but candidates were only allowed to start posting on city property last week. Ironically, Budzinski helped draft Strathcona's sign bylaw back when he was a councillor, and within hours of our conversation, his website's colors and logos changed completely from black and yellow to baby blue and white.
Let's call a spade a spade. The reality is that he stuck out a sign with his name on it in his campaign colors. So you be the judge.
He found a loophole.
Well, I think that if he's going to find loopholes now, it's going to stop him from doing it when he's mayor.
Mayoralty candidate Tonus Kruger and his supporters will be out here Friday night protesting Budzinski's campaigning ethics. In Sherwood Park, Lana Thompson, A Channel News Now.
They're sticking around to help make it happen.
A Channel's Megan Venner has that.
A standing ovation from his cabinet helps the Prime Minister celebrate what he calls the deal of the decade.
I feel pretty good. I feel great, as a matter of fact.
The deal is being called a healthcare plan, though some question, where's the plan?
It's incredibly vague. It was billed as a health summit. It was really a summit about fiscal federalism.
About dollars and cents, says Patton. $41 billion over 10 years, $18 billion in the next 6 years, and then a 6% yearly increase after that. For Alberta, that represents $300 million annually, a figure Alberta's premier says isn't that much.
The feds have moved, but they haven't moved anywhere near to where the premiers wanted them to move.
But Klein left midway through the first day, something some Albertans say is embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't know how he can look himself in the mirror. He's just not doing the job for Albertans.
It says he doesn't take his job very seriously. What would happen if you or I walked off our jobs?
The premiers who did stay are claiming victory, but admit there is work to do. Although vague, the deal promises reform in home care, pharmacare, and primary care, things that some say so far haven't topped the Alberta reform agenda.
It's mostly about how to make health care more sustainable in the sense of more affordable to government. Not how to keep the overall costs down, not how to reform the system.
The government right now in Alberta, though, is playing peekaboo with their health reform plans.
The Liberals say with an election looming, it's time for the Tories to lay their plans on the table. Klein, on the other hand, has said the election is no place to talk about meaningful reform. And there's another major meeting planned between the Prime Minister and the Premiers next month, this time on equalization. It's unknown at this time whether or not Ralph Klein plans to attend. At the Alberta Legislature, Megan Venner, 8 Channel News Now.
In Lethbridge, Medicine had at 12. That's the warmest across the province. Now, as for weather, Fort McMurray will see beautiful sunshine. That will be the only place with sun tomorrow. Most other areas seeing periods of snow throughout the day. Now, Lethbridge and Medicine Hat will be seeing that in the form of showers or periods of rain. Some areas could see up to 10 centimeters. And here's a look at your AccuWeather 5-day forecast. 0 is our high tomorrow. We're seeing periods of snow throughout the day. This will continue into Thursday, a high of 1. And then by Friday and Saturday, we only have a chance of flurries. By Saturday, it's only a slight chance. And Sunday, we're looking at mainly cloudy skies and warming up to 8 degrees. So hopefully, Julie, we'll be out of this system.
We can cross our fingers, right?
Then back into spring. That would be nice.
All right. Thank you very much, Christy. Thanks for joining us tonight. Stay tuned. Wired is up next. Have a great night.
Good night.
Simonson has been a driver for Loomis Armored Cars. Now he's on strike. His pension on the line.
I would be penalized 21% until the age of 59. So I have to remain with the company till I'm almost 60 years of age.
In all, 450 Western workers are off the job. Workers say they were locked out. Securicor claims the union walked away from the bargaining table and away from a potential deal.
We had an offer on the table. The union got up, walked out, didn't ask their members to vote on that offer, called a strike and walked off the job.
Workers maintain they want appropriate pay for dangerous work.
You have people that are carrying weapons, getting paid. In Calgary, for example, $9.67, handling the currency of this country. In Edmonton, the rate is even more ridiculous, $8.67.
Wages and pensions are definitely a concern, but so is the 40% turnover rate. The employees believe with such a revolving door, their industry is actually inviting the Patrick Ryans of the world to come in and commit armed robbery.
That 40% turnover develops a relationship for people to come into the system, understand the security issues, understand the weak points, and leave.
Employees say they are ready to get back to the bargaining table, but Securicor warns the negotiations will be starting from scratch.
Once we can't provide service to our customers, we've lost business. We've lost customers. Some will be able to get back quickly. Some it will take a long time to get back. We're in a different financial position now than we were when we put that last offer on the table.
So far, no new talks have been scheduled, and Securicor says that if it looks as if the strike will continue for an extended period of time, they will consider hiring replacement workers. Tracy Prediger, 8 Channel News Now.